Welcome in here on Regan's Corner Sports Network to first ever edition of Satellite Softball here on Regan's Corner. Opening day here after this heartbreak of a loss in the state championship game for the Satellites. On the mound, sophomore Lexi Johnson tonight there, Maddie. So what do you think the Satellites should do here in the opening days?
Absolutely. I'm really excited for this matchup, and I'm really glad to be here. I just think most importantly, in terms of any game, any sport, you got to come in confident in yourself and your teammates. If you don't do that, then you're going to have a rough one.
We do not own the rights to this music. Kind of the keys here, getting up on these Falcons early is a big key. And Lexi locating that rise ball there, Maddie.
Absolutely, and just like any game at all, pitching is huge, and it helps a lot to have a pitcher that has a lot of different types of pitches in her arsenal. That can confuse the batter and also make it a lot harder to get a really powerful hit out there depending on the pitch.
Absolutely. Let's talk about kind of the newcomers here. It's okay. So right now the coaches are meeting, even though we are buffering right now there, Maddie.
Yes, we are.
For the Satellites is number 2, Val Thorne. And now for your John Glenn Falcons. Leading off and playing center field is number 3, Mackenzie Klein. Standing in the 2 spot and playing right field is number 14, Taylor Jackson. Batting in the 3 holes and catching is number 10, Natalie Wilton. Batting cleanup and playing third base is number 17, Peyton Thomas. Batting fifth and playing first, Michaela Liskowski. Hitting in the eight hole and pitching is number 13, Mackenzie Tim. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps and join the Lady Falcons as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Long, long time ago, I can still.
Yes, it's buffering.
Now batting, number 10.
As it looks like it's Tenley Warner at the plate, and she will take ball number 1. That one hits the outside corner. The count will go 1-1. As South Central looks to start the season off right. That one looks like it might have been outside. Maybe 2-1. And it hit right back up the middle. So after getting 1 down, it's going to be a run of that first base. Yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties, folks. A little bit of
Batting,
buffering.
number 27, Avery Convoy.
So it'll be a runner on first with 1 out in the top of the first inning. And that one just fouled off as it'll be number 27, Avery Convoy, stepping in. And she'll be down 0-1 in the count.
All right, I think mine's back and working.
That one just fouled, so the count will quickly go to 0-2. As Avery Convoy looks to start the season off right with the base hit here. A beautiful day here for softball on this Tuesday afternoon. As she's going to be in there. So now we're in scoring position for South Central. And it looks like South Central was able to get a runner on, but I guess that was all. You know, they also got him into scoring position, but wasn't able to cash it in. As we are just about ready to kick off the bottom of the first.
All right. Looks like Mackenzie Klein is coming up to bat, center fielder. Let's see how she does at the plate. And the first pitch seems to be a ball, a little low. Count is 0-1. Next pitch, ball a little bit out to the side, and she is now 0-2 in her count right now. Next pitch coming. Looks to be a strike, close one, kind of there on the outside corner of the bag. She is now, sorry, I messed with the count. She's now 2-1. The next pitch, close inside. Looks like it almost hit her there. She's now 3-1 in the count.
Yeah, and I think right here you almost have to pitch a strike here. You know, you don't really want to walk the first batter.
Absolutely, 100%. You walk that first batter, no outs. It's always a case that you don't want to have. A little bit of a foul tip there. She's now 3-2 full count. Next pitch coming up. Looks like it was some kind of either a strikeout or ground out there. Sorry about the buffering again, but it looks like that was an out for the Falcons.
Yeah, it looked like it was a strikeout. And, I mean, if it was, you know, that was a great way to start off the inning if you are South Central.
Absolutely. That's what you want to do on that first batter there. Get a strikeout, get the outs going. So now they have one out here. With Taylor Jackson, the right fielder, up to bat. Let's see how this goes for her. Did you happen to catch that pitch there? I didn't see what it was.
No, it might have been a ball, but I mean, we shall see.
Ooh, a great pitch right down the middle. Got her swinging. That's exactly what you want to do there.
Yeah, I guess just a little more buffering than usual, but I mean, you know, you get through these things.
Absolutely. Next pitch, another great pitch down the middle there. I'm not exactly sure on the count, but I know she has 2 strikes there, both on great pitches down the middle, and that's exactly what you want to do. You want to get those pitches right down the middle where the batter just misses them, because throwing them right down the middle can always be dangerous.
Yeah, it looks like it's a 2-2 count.
Yeah, and another ball there, looked a little low on the outs or inside. So now again, it is a full count for Taylor Jackson. And that'll be ball 4. We got a walk for the Falcons. Taylor Jackson is now on first with 1 out. Now upcoming is Natalie Wilton, the catcher. No, the pitch was a little outside. It's a ball. It's 1-0. They're looking at the runner on first, trying to see if there's anything they can do there.
Yeah, you don't really want a runner stealing a base here.
Absolutely not. That was a close one there. So a little bit, I don't want to say it was a wild throw, but not the perfect throw. You want to get that runner out right there.
Yeah, I think it was a great idea. Just the throw was a little bit offline.
Yeah, they're lucky they got that stop there, because if that went into right field, you might have had the runner go to second there.
And so it looks like it might have been a walk. There's runners on first and second now.
Yes, there's runners on first and second again. Sorry for the buffering. We didn't catch what happened there, but we have a runner on first and second with one out. And now comes up Peyton Thomas, the third baseman. Let's see what she can do here. Ooh, another perfect pitch right down the middle.
Yeah, and if you're South Central, you really want to focus on the pitcher right here and try to get the second out of the inning.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if this runner gets on base, it's going to be bases loaded with one out, and that is never something you want in the sport. Because then if any pop-ups hit, if they can tag up, they can go home, then you have a run on the board that you just can't afford in these games. Looks like there's a strike out there. There are now two outs, runners on first and second, and up comes Scout Wilsey, the first baseman.
Yeah, just a great pitch to hit the outside corner, get the second out of the inning, so only one more out needed to get out of the jam.
Absolutely, and it looked like that was a strike there, gone swinging. Looked like a pretty good pitch. Let's see where the next one falls. Oh,
And
looks like we had a wild pitch.
Yep, went past the catcher.
Seems like it was a wild pitch. The runner somehow made it from second to home, and it is now they scored one on that, I believe. Or did they score two there?
I think there's still a runner at third. Yeah, I think the runner from first went to third. Not really sure how that happened, but I mean, John Glenn 1-0.
Another pretty pitch right down the middle, caught looking that time. And then there's a strikeout. There's the final out of that half inning. Now we're going to switch sides again.
Yeah, just a great pitch, a little bit above the strike zone, able to get the batter to chase and able to limit the damage to only one.
Absolutely. And so far, not a ton of hits. The way the run scored was a wild pitch. We haven't seen a ton of hits, especially out to the green area in the outfield. And I'm getting ready to see some.
Yeah, so another shout out to Warner Farms, but I just wanted to say, so John Glenn, they strike first. So now let's see if South Central can answer back with a run of their own.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm interested to see what's going to happen next. Again, I hope we get some good hits, some cool plays on the defensive side, some things to get this game rolling.
And more buffering. So I guess the internet isn't too great there at John Glenn, I would assume, because there's a lot of buffering in this broadcast.
Yeah, I think that would be safe to assume. What I know is I'm pretty sure she swung at that pitch.
Yeah, I mean it might be 0-2, 1-2, somewhere around there.
Yeah, we'll just have to see and hope that buffering stays away.
And there's a walk there.
Now
We'll
batting number
skip
28,
ahead there,
Emily
guys.
Castillo.
Yeah, so Josh is jumping in, because he is there at the game, so he is able to see the game live and without buffering, which is nice.
Yeah,
So yeah, it looks
absolutely.
like it's gonna be walking the first batter, so able to get the first runner on. That's always a good sign for South Central.
Absolutely. And catcher did a good job keeping that ball in front there.
And there's the walk. And now we get a power hitter up to the plate, so maybe we can South Central can drive in a run here, just get one to the outfield maybe.
Absolutely, especially get that run back. It looks like that runner on first base is being aggressive. Looked like on that she was trying to steal there, but the catcher did a really great job of getting up and ready to throw that ball.
Yeah, and if I was South Central, I would, as a hit to third base. And they're going to get the runner at second, look like.
Yeah, it looked like they were ready to turn two, but that runner was already there. But, they still get a good out of it. And it was a good try there on that double play.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is that if I was South Central, I would continue to steal and really test the catcher. I would test the catcher until she shows that she can, throw out a runner at second.
Absolutely. I think that's a great great strategy in softball is because that catcher, most everything runs through the catcher. They're the person on the field who can see everything. They're the only ones. And so they see the runners moving, they see it all. And if your catcher has a bad arm, then you can steal on her. So testing out the catcher, seeing if she has a good arm, and if you know that she has a good arm, and then, holding back on the steals, it always helps in games.
Yeah, I think it's just a great strategy as that one was in the dirt, and that would advance the runner to second base.
Yeah. And there's also a fly out there, so I believe it's now 2 outs. The runner on second.
So 2 down with a runner in scoring position. Let's see if South Central can even things up with the base hit.
And it looks like they're hungry to get this batter out on second there. The catcher is up and ready to throw every single time.
Again, we apologize for the buffering, but I mean, the Wi-Fi just isn't going to be great, everywhere you go. So
Yeah, absolutely.
something
Nothing that you can really do about that.
Yeah, something you got to just bear with us with.
And other than that ball in the dirt, this catcher has been a wall. It's every time she's keeping it in front and making sure to keep those runners where they are at and not let them advance.
Yeah, she's been almost like a wall, behind home plate. As that one, I think, was also in the dirt. I mean, I'm not sure the count, but it might be 2-2, 3-2, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I believe so too. 2 outs in the inning. So if the Falcons can get out of this, that would be great. It looked like a close one there.
Yeah, so I didn't see the runner at first, but I mean, there's 2 runners on here for South Central.
Absolutely. So kind of dangerous territory here. Any overthrows, any balls that hit the ground. Can't
Yeah,
really
and so I
have that
think
here.
so I think a gapper can actually score 2 runs here for
Mhm.
South Central.
Absolutely. If the runners are fast enough to get there, absolutely 100%.
So I feel like now it's full count because, I mean, it kind of feels like there's been a lot of pitchers to this batter.
Most likely, yeah. Oh, and there's a
Oh,
grounder to third,
ooh,
and then the
right
force
to the
out at
third
3.
baseman.
Yep. Force out at 3, and then we are going to switch sides again. Couldn't unfortunately get that run back there.
Yeah, I mean, able to get, a couple more runners on. That first inning, they were able to get a runner on, left them stranded. And then that inning got 2 runners on and left both stranded. So they've been able to get them on, just not have been able to get them in.
Absolutely, and it's always a good sign to have runners on bases, even if they're left on, because that still means that you're finding ways to get on base regardless. So that's a good sign. They just got to capitalize and get those runs in to catch up with the 1 run they let up the last inning that the Falcons went up.
Yeah, in softball or baseball, it's kind of a momentum thing. If you get runners on, then you have that momentum. Even if you don't get them in, then you're doing something and you're putting pressure on the other team.
Absolutely, and it's as you said, it's a mental thing. When you're going into innings and you're not getting anyone on base, you kind of lose confidence and are we going to come back from this? But still seeing runners on bases and still seeing runners being able to get there, it helps a lot with the confidence level. Again, looks like some more buffering.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I don't know if we're going to come out of this buffer.
Oh, there we go.
It's like, oof.
All right, so we got a batter up now. Let's see how these pitches come in here.
Yeah, I would assume this is kind of hard to watch for viewers, but again, just bear with us, and it'll keep going.
Yeah, that first pitch there is a little high, but that second one, it was a perfect strike down the middle, went down swinging there. So she has at least 1 ball and 1 strike there, maybe some more in that as well. It looks like that's his count said 3-1. I could be wrong, but that's what it looked like.
Yeah, I can't really tell with his fingers sometimes, but I think it was a 3-1.
Now batting, number 7, Michaela Laskowski.
There, guys, it was a strikeout. So there you go.
Okay, so Josh said that it's gonna be a strikeout, and I mean that is a really good sign here for South Central to get the first batter out in the inning.
Absolutely, and I also think the pitching has been stellar for South Central as well. Seems like almost every pitch is a perfect strike. And it looks like we got a new batter up now.
So it's 1 down here for John Glenn here in the bottom of the second. And I really think that the South Central pitcher is doing a good job of, throwing strikes, even if they, get the bat on the ball, throwing strikes is really important in this game.
Absolutely. If your pitcher does not throw strikes, it's just going to be players walking and runs just getting cashed in there. So strikes and good pitching on top of that are extremely important.
Why?
Absolutely, guys. For those viewers at home, we'll have an HD broadcast after the game here on Regan's Corner Sports Network since we are also recording. So if it's hard to watch now, it'll be easy to watch later tonight.
Now batting number 30.
Alrighty, let's see how this pitch comes. And it looks like it's a little outside. Very close pitch. That could have gone either way. But they do have a batter on first now. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, and so it looked like that was almost a borderline pitch, and it just went the way of the batter.
Absolutely. I was kind of holding back there to see what that was. The next pitch up high, and that's a ball. I think there are no outs. No, there's one out. That's strikeout.
Yes, it's one down, runner on first.
Ooh, another perfect pitch there, right down the middle. Again, swinging, and it seems like these pitches are down the middle. The batters are just missing them, unfortunately. And another one. Yeah, absolutely. The pitcher for South Central is doing a fantastic job here. These are just amazing pitches. The speed, the way she's pitching them. Unfortunately, we're not at an angle or experts in what pitch exactly she is throwing, but it seems like a variety of pitches with that strikeout there. Just 3 amazing pitches.
Yeah, I think that she's doing a really good job of, keeping the batters guessing and, throwing different pitches in different locations.
Absolutely. Again, these catchers are hungry to get these batters off the bases with the throw down there. And there's another ball there. Looked a little low, but in this angle, I'm not sure. Let's see what South Central's pitcher pulls out here. That's another one that can go either way. That looked a little high, but I could see that as a strike as well. That was a really good in the middle pitch there. And there she goes again, another strike there.
Yeah, I think she's been able to get these pitches that are high, for the batters to swing at.
Absolutely. She is having a day so far. And there it is, popped up. And it looks like it dropped there. Catcher was out of the camera. I think it was maybe over the fence, out of the field. But the pitcher is 1 strike away from ending this inning here. Exchanging balls. And that can happen for a lot of different reasons. Grip is very important. And up high for a ball. And it looks like it's full count.
And looks like I think it was a strikeout. So
Yep. It kind of moved a little bit ahead there, but
yeah.
Overall it wasn't out there, and we're going to see South Central bat now.
Yeah, as we move to the top of the third, South Central, I think they kind of need to get something going, They've been able to get runners on base, but they just haven't been able to get them in, and I think this inning they really have to, get a couple runs.
they've been doing a great job again of getting batters on base, and maybe this is going to be the inning that they can actually run some in. Because again, so far there's still not a ton of hits going on in this game. Mostly strikeouts, walks, and things like that. So hopefully we get some bats going in this inning.
Yeah, there's just been a couple of hits to third base, and I mean, I think that was almost it.
Yeah, and one of those went directly to her, and she tapped the base on the force out. It seems like the outfield's getting no action so far.
And it looks like it's buffering again.
Seems to be so. There we go. It looks like it's the same batter up at the plate. I could be wrong.
I think so.
It was a nice pitch down the middle. Another one that could have gone either way. Not sure of the count, but that was a pretty one right there.
Yeah, it looks like it hit just the top of the strike zone.
And that one looked low and pretty close to the batter there. It looks like the count is 3-1. So she's one ball away from getting on first. You know, there's no outs here, so this could be dangerous getting a batter on right here.
Yeah, if she walks this batter right here, I mean, with no outs, I mean, it's kind of dangerous, as you said.
And it looks like there's a hit there again to third and a close one there, but it looks like she is ruled out.
Yeah, and so the third baseman has been getting a lot of work here early in this game.
Yeah, she's getting a lot of reps there. But I'm pretty sure there's one out now in the inning for South Central. Up to bat.
And it looks like Lexi Johnson is back up, so I believe that is the top of the order.
Oh, looks like we are kind of getting there.
Yeah, sort of.
I thought we had that for a second.
Yeah, it feels like there's more buffering than game here.
You know, from my experience in playing softball, the fields that you go out, there's just not a ton of service out there, so that could be an issue.
Yeah, it's very true. Like, it's usually not too close to, or like as close as, you know, like the basketball court to the school. So I think the Wi-Fi would be a little worse.
Oh, absolutely. There are some fields you had to walk way out into the middle and nowhere to get to. Looks like it's 3-0 right now. And there's a runner on
We have
first.
a runner at first.
Yeah, I believe there's one out.
That's a good sign here for South Central.
Absolutely. Again, getting those batters on. Maybe
Yeah, especially with Warner coming up here. And she drives it. And it's gone. There, ladies and gentlemen. 2-run home run from Tinley Warner.
And there it is. What a
And
shot
there it
there.
Yeah.
And that is way gone there. And now the Satellites are going to take the lead 2-1 there.
It's like I almost knew that was going to happen.
I know. What a shot there.
Now batting, number 27,
Man,
Avery
but
Conboy.
great power there from, I believe it was Lexi Johnson. And, I mean, just kind of crushed that ball, Maddie.
Oh, absolutely. And I've been saying all game long, where the hits. There it is, right there, way over the fence. And, it's harder to hit homers almost to center field because that's even a further distance. And that was right between center and left. So what a shot there.
Yeah, I mean, for these first.
What a shot from Warner there.
Yeah, for the first 2 innings, it felt like John Glenn had, most of the momentum. And then just out of nowhere, South Central with the home run, and they take the lead.
Absolutely. There's nothing more demoralizing than having a huge homer hit. And there's also nothing more of a confidence boost if you're on the team where it happened there too. There's nothing better than doing that, but there's also nothing worse if you're on the opposite end there.
Yeah, and I mean, softball and baseball are kind of those sports where, you can feel like you're down 10-0, even though it's 1-0, and then you hit a home run, and then you just take the lead, and it just kind of shifts the momentum greatly.
Absolutely. It's a very mental sport, so anything that you can do to
Baseball,
bring your opponent's confidence down, it helps you.
with the catchers. So like you can't have it like hanging right behind the plate. But like honestly, like
What's the count?
Hey, Josh, your mic's on.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
But honestly, I think if you guys made it like a window out there and had a sectional game, it would be worse because you would actually.
So it looks like 27 up at the plate. Avery Conboy looking to keep things going.
Yeah, so far it's been a great inning for the Satellites here. And I know they want to keep it going. I believe there's one out. I could be wrong there. But even regardless, it seems like the confidence has gone, or the momentum has gone their way.
Yeah, and we were talking about how South Central was able to get runners on, but just wasn't able to, get them in. And then, you hit a home run, and, I mean, you get 2 runs in just like that.
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the beauties of the sport is you can be down, but you're never out. There's not a running clock here unless you're on a time limit, but even then you get to play out innings. And that's one of the beauties of the game is you get through the inning and you have 3 outs to make the difference. And you're never down until it's over, or you're never out till it's over. The same good thing for John Glenn is it's only the top of the third and they're only down 1 run, even though I know that home run probably made it feel a lot worse than it is, but only down 1 run. So they still have a really good chance of getting back in this.
Yeah, I mean, those types of plays are momentum shifters for sure. But, I mean, the opposing team is really never out of it, as you said.
No, absolutely. I'm not sure if that was a strike or a ball there. Still having some difficulty.
Yeah, I think that baseball and softball are just, way different sports than, say basketball, football, because, yeah, you could feel like you're down and out, but then a home run could either tie it up or, you can take the advantage in the game.
100%. If you're down by 40 in a basketball game and you have a minute left, it's pretty much, it's over unless the insane craziness happens, but it's very, very, very likely you're out of it. The great thing with baseball and softball is if you're down by 40 and you are in the bottom of the 9th, you still have a chance to get in it, as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, even if you're down 3, and I mean 3 feels like so much in a sport like baseball or softball, a grand slam, wins you the game, even though you were down 3 and it felt like you just didn't have a chance.
Absolutely. It's just it's a very unique sport compared to others. Ooh, and it looks like that was an inside pitch, and she went down swinging.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a really good pitch there. It was, inside corner, and yeah, got the batter to bite on it.
Yes, and it looks like it's a full count, so this pitch can decide the batter right here. Ooh, and that looks like a good one hit
Oh,
right
what a
field. And
shot! Yep, it's gonna
I think
bloop
that
there.
dropped.
Yep, right field.
That
Yeah, and
was
I
the
mean,
perfect position.
yeah, those in between, the infielder and the outfielder, I mean, you just call those bloops because it's just like you
Hmm.
kind of feel like one of them's gonna get to it and just drops in.
Yeah, absolutely. I was an outfielder, and those were my least favorite kinds of balls to field. It was always, the outfielder sees it, the outfield sees it, but then you see the infielder charging towards you, trying to get it too, and it just causes a lot of confusion if you're not talking. So those are always very dangerous. It looks like a throwdown. It looks like
Ooh,
they
and
got her there.
yeah, that was a perfect throw. It looked like.
What a throw by the catcher
Wow.
there.
It looked like it beat the runner by, like a couple steps. Like,
Oh yeah, that was way ahead of the runner there.
yeah.
What a throw by the John Glenn catcher there. It was a great awareness play there.
And so John Glenn gives up 2 in the inning, but able to get the runner there at second, and we go to the bottom of the third.
And I think that play was essential for their confidence after that home run. Now they're going into their batting with a highlight play there, and that's going to help them at the plate.
Yeah, I mean, any play like that is, part of the momentum, as it was the home run for South Central, but then John Glenn gets some momentum back, with a throw like that to second base.
Yeah, what a play that was. And now we're going to see John Glenn come up to the plate here. It looks like you can't see her number.
Yeah, I think her hair's covering it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's number 3.
Yeah,
It
number
looks
3.
number 3. So we're back at the beginning of the lineup here for the Falcons, which is always a great sign. Back when I played, it was always our fastest player was up number 1, so they could go and steal the bases.
Yeah, and so it looks like Mackenzie Klein here, is probably most likely a threat on the bases, to run.
Absolutely, she's a center fielder too, and center fielders, you got to be fast there.
Yeah, usually center field is where almost your fastest player is, or where your fastest player is.
Yeah, you have to be the general of the outfield. You have to make sure that right and left field are talking to you, and you don't just have to deal with center field as a whole. You deal with those gaps in between right and left as well. So you have a huge ground to cover there. So you have to be fast in that position.
Yeah, I kind of feel like infielders, they get, most of the hot shots. So it's kind of difficult being an infielder, but being an outfielder, if it's hitting the gap and it's, carrying, you have a chance at that ball, and you want to try your best to get to that ball and get the batter out.
And it looks like a shot there. It looks like it was caught. Or is she on second?
I think it might have been, it was down maybe in the gap.
All right.
Runner
Well,
at
it looks
second now.
like a double for John Glenn there. It looked like it was kind of in between right and center, and it must have dropped.
Yeah, and so the first double of the game will go to John Glenn, and now John Glenn is threatening with no outs in the inning.
No, absolutely. And Taylor Jackson, the right fielder, coming up right now, looking to get a hit to bring the runner on second in here. Would help them a lot. They only need 1 run to tie it, and right now she is the leading runner.
Yeah, I mean, so if she were to get a home run, then I mean, it'd shift the momentum right back to John Glenn, and it would be 3-2 John Glenn.
Absolutely. And so far, this seems a very evenly matched up game. I think this might come down to the wire.
Yeah, I mean, barely to the third inning, but I mean, it kind of looks like both teams really want this win of the season in the first game.
And it looks like there's a little confusion on the field.
Yes, it looks like the runner got to third somehow.
It must have been maybe a pop-up that
Pass.
she tagged up on there.
Yeah, either that or a pass ball, maybe.
Yeah.
Not
And another
too
shot
sure.
there. That looks like that either the second baseman caught that. So that was that looked like it was going to the outfield, but that was a pop-up to the second baseman. That's 2 outs now. We got a runner on third. If this is hit to
Yeah,
the right side and it's on the ground, John Glenn ties it here.
definitely. I mean, just a really lucky pop up there for South Central, because a pop up in the outfield was definitely a run, as the sacrifice fly is in play right here.
Yeah, and that looked like that was over second base's head from the bat, but just seemed right there, right to her there. So
Yeah,
very lucky break.
it looked like it was kind of going to the outfield and then just kind of died there at second base.
Absolutely. We have Peyton Thomas, the third baseman, up here trying to tie up the score for John Glenn.
Yeah, so I believe it's one down, might be two.
Pretty sure it's 2, but I could be wrong.
Two, yeah, I think maybe two down. Runner at third.
Yes, and that was a high pitch there. 3-0 here, so this could be a walk situation.
Yeah, and if you're South Central, a walk doesn't really hurt you right now, as you know you have 2 outs and you just need to get one more out. So I mean, it wouldn't hurt as much as like a base hit would.
Absolutely, but still, that looks like a foul ball there. The only way it can really hurt you is if a ball drops or is overthrown or obviously gets hit over the fence, and then you have another extra run tacked on the board there. It looks like that was hit into play.
Yep, I think it might have been. It's probably a grounder to the outfield.
Yeah, runners on first, and it looks like the runner that was on third base is gone. So she may have scored, or maybe she was stuck there in the baseline.
I believe it was a base hit, and yeah, there you go. It's 2-2.
Oh, yep, there we go. All right, so they're an RBI. We are all tied up.
Yeah, see, in a blink of an eye, John Glenn has tied this game up, when it felt like they were just not going to come back.
Absolutely. These teams are, again, both of them are playing very, very, very well, both on defense and at the plate, but it's mostly been a game about pitching and balls that were kind of out of the way of the defenders. So an automatic hit is like something that a fielder can't grab. So there hasn't been a ton of defensive play other than these throwdowns. Both teams have been really good at getting their catcher up and ready to throw second, and it looks like she was safe there. But still, regardless, that was a great on-point throw there from the catcher.
Yeah, it looked like just unfortunately a little bit late there by the catcher. By the time she realized, she was going, it was a little bit too late, but
still on point there. Sometimes when you go a little late, you can hesitate and toss it out. And it looks like that was a strikeout there. And we are now switching sides yet again. 2-2.
Yeah, after giving up the run, great job there, getting the last out of the inning, especially with the strikeout.
Yep, absolutely. And now we see what the South Central brings back to the plate here to answer to that tying run.
And more buffering. Oh, there we go. So it looks like we're ready for the top of the fourth.
So it seems that we are. Looks like a pitch was thrown there. I didn't catch what it was.
Yeah, it might have been a ball, but I mean, for South Central, you really want to try to take the lead back. Giving up that run, having this game tied up, you're really going to get one run back, to try to distance yourself.
And the best way to do that is get a runner on the first at bat. And it looks like the catch was that an intentional or did something happen there? Oh, she's going to talk to her coach. But it looks like the catcher is going to talk to the pitcher, give some reassuring words. So it must have been another ball there.
Yeah, it looks like meetings on both sides. I think the coach saw something there that could help out the batter here.
And there's nothing wrong with giving your pitcher some words of either advice or just to stop it for a little bit, let them regroup. And there, see, it works. There's a perfect strike there. Not sure of the count. But the best way for the Satellites to answer for the tying run is to get your first batter on base, no outs, because then you have at least three other batters who are going to come up and hopefully get on base or get a hit to advance. And a diving play by the third baseman there to keep the ball out from rolling into the outfield. Unfortunately, can't see the end of the play.
Yeah, I mean, just a great play there and
in and out.
dang,
Look like
wow.
What a play by the Falcons.
Just a sensational play there for the third baseman. As I said before, the third baseman has been getting a lot of work in here for John Glenn and, able to snag that one and make the throw from her knees. That was a great play.
Fantastic play. Another highlight play. And again, I feel like every time I say I want to see something, it happens. First it was the hits, and now it's the defensive play. That was a fantastic infield play by the third baseman, diving and keeping that ball out of the outfield, which for sure would have been a base hit. So what a play again by third base.
Yeah, and especially in high school, you see a lot of those plays in college softball, but for a high school player to be able to do that, I mean that's a very promising player that might be able to go play some college ball.
Absolutely. And it looks like second baseman again, we have another great defensive play. Stop that from going straight up the middle. The runner seems to be safe, but regardless, that might have been a double there if she did not shift over and grab that.
Yeah, I mean, just some really good plays here for John Glenn as, just some gems here for John Glenn in this game.
Absolutely. And it's one out, I believe. We got a runner on first base. Not sure the count of the batter, but we're about to see the next pitch. And the swinging strike there. It's a very nice strike. It looked a little low, but those can trick a batter.
Yeah, and I mean the catcher has just really been alert, almost this entire game, making sure that she keeps the runners on base honest.
Yes, and this catcher, I'm pretty sure this is the catcher who threw down on that awesome play and got the runner stealing. I could be wrong, but she has been on it this whole game. Even then, when the runner on first base seemed to be stealing, she completely turned and was ready to launch that ball. So the runner needs to be careful having her behind the plate. There she is again, twisting her feet, getting ready to launch it. Looks like that was a strikeout there.
Yeah, it looks like South Central will get their second out of the inning.
John Glenn has had a very good defensive inning so far.
Yeah, so 2 down, runner on first for, it looked like number 14, I believe. Yes. I think her name's Taylor Cleek. I think so. But yeah, right here, I mean, you just want to get the bat on the ball.
1-1 on Creek here.
Oh, Creek. Taylor Creek? Okay.
There's another close pitch there.
Yeah. As I said, Taylor Creek, you just want to get the bat on the ball. You don't really want to swing for the fences, just because, getting on base is more important than, getting a home run.
Definitely. Advance that runner and get yourself on base. And a great stop by the catcher there. That could have been that runner could have gotten on second there if she did not reach up and grab that ball. Again, this catcher is really having a great night.
Yeah, and it kind of feels like John Glenn's defense as a whole, is kind of solid, and they've been making some really good plays here in this ballgame.
I agree 100%. And here comes the pitch. 2 outs again, runner on first. Anything that you can get on the ground that isn't a direct grounder to the infield. And it looks like that's another strike there, a little outside.
Yeah, if you're Creek, you just want to find a gap here and get on base.
Not sure of the count, but here comes another pitch. The catcher again keeping that in front. And that looks like a pop-up between the catcher and first. Looked like there was a miscommunication there. They both seem to be running towards it. And again, the catcher made up a lot of ground. If you think about it, she had to go from her positioning all the way over there. So even for her to get over there is just showing her hustle. But it seemed to be a miscommunication unless it hit against the fence. I'm not sure. I can't see the angle. But regardless, great hustle for both players. And they got her going out swinging, and that will end the inning. Or the top of the inning.
Yeah, and so we'll go to the bottom of the 4th, tied up 2-2, and we'll see if John Glenn can get anything going.
The game is still tied here at the top or the bottom of the 4th now. And again, hopefully we can see some more hits here or some more crazy defensive highlights like we saw in the last inning. We had the diving play at third, and we also had the second baseman going over and scooping up a ball that would for sure have gone out to center field. Although the runner was safe, it still saved an extra base there most likely.
Yeah, I mean, the catcher for John Glenn has just been sensational, as, of course, that throw to get the runner going to second, is just on point. But then on top of that, she's been making some great plays, stopping some balls and, also, having some hustle plays.
And up comes a batter again. I can't see her number, but we have no outs yet, and John Glenn looking to add on to the board. That was an outside strike there. That looked a little could go either way, but the count is now 0-1.
And so for John Glenn, looks like number 1, I think it's Addison Reese is at the plate.
And she is 0-2 right now. You really have to protect the plate. Anything close, anything that could go either way. And she did a great job of holding back there. That was way outside into the left-hand batter's box. Not something you want to swing at there.
Yeah, and I believe that the pitcher is Lexi Johnson. As that one is high. Oh, but she swung at it.
Yes, they got her swinging. And again, it's just really showing how great South Central's pitching has been with all the different kinds. I can assume that might have been a rise ball. I could be wrong since it was so high. It could be anything, but rise balls do end getting up that high. But regardless, it just seems that there's been a lot of different pitches being thrown by South Central that's really hurting John Glenn on offense.
Yeah, and it looks like that one was just foul. I mean, I think she put a charge into that one, but I think it just went foul.
And there have been quite a few foul balls so far that were drilled. Just like that one, it looks like that was a foul ball that went pretty far if left field is running over for it.
Yeah, and I mean, it almost looked like it was a replay, but, I guess it was just hit in the same direction.
And it looks like that one was hit in the same direction, just fair. And it seems as if that was, she's safe at first. The single to left field.
Yeah, that one just blooped in right over the second baseman, I believe.
That's where you want to hit it. You want it on the ground in the outfield because once you realize it's on the ground in the outfield, that you're set either for a single or a double, even a triple if you hit it in the left-hand side on the ground. I know that's where you want to hit it when there's a runner on third base because it's a longer distance from home plate, and you have to have a really, really good arm there to get it home and get that runner out. So that was a great play on that at-bat.
Yeah, and so correction, it went right over the shortstop. So just blooped in and able to get on first with one down.
Another great strike by South Central. Really getting those right in where the umpire seems to like it. And there it is, right down the first baseline. And it looks like she was fast enough to get there, just unfortunately a little too far away. And there, the infield just kind of lost or communication error, kind of stopped paying attention after the play. And now there's a runner on third base, which is very dangerous. And there's also the runner at first still. I thought they got her out there.
Yeah, I think that one, it just went down the line. I think it went into the outfield.
But what a at bat there for John Glenn.
Yeah, so now runners at the corners here for John Glenn.
And with the runner on third base, it's very risky for the catcher because if anything goes past the catcher, it's most likely that person on third base is running home and they will score a run. Now, that was a swing for the fences there, but unfortunately she just missed, and that's another strike. I'm not sure how many outs there are. I think there may be one or two. I think there was a strikeout in this inning.
Yeah, as Ava Leslie trying to put a ball into play. as that one misses just outside.
And really, when you're in a looks like the runner on first base is not on first anymore.
Oh,
She's on second.
Yeah, so she had stole second. And I mean, I think that the catcher not throwing to second was a good play because most of the time when that happens, the runner from third base comes home and they allowed a run to score.
100%. Right now, when you have a runner on third and second and no runner on first, you really want to hit it to left field and hit it deep into left field. That way, again, you have to have a really strong arm to get it back in to home plate. So if she can hit it right on that left side, this can score 2 runs right here.
Yeah, it looks like that one just foul, so Leslie staying alive.
And then another foul ball there. Went right behind her in the box. And again, anything close here to stay alive. Even if you foul it off, you don't like the pitch, you foul it off, you're still alive in the box. Oh, wow, she got her. That was a pitch straight down the middle. And that would have been one that I'm sure she wants to get back. Even if she just fouled it off, she would still be fighting. And it seemed that there's 1 out, so now there's 2. And I believe we're at the top of the order again.
Yeah, great pitch, able to get, I think, the second out of the inning.
Looked like another foul ball. Let's see how the next pitch lands. And it looks like she is 0-2 right now in the box. Again, got to protect anything close. Foul it off. You don't like it. You got to score, get those runners in.
Yeah, you don't necessarily want to go down swinging in this at-bat.
100% great stop by the catcher. Great head on her shoulders, not swinging on that. That was way into the right-hand batter's box, low.
Yeah, that one was in the dirt, so great stop there by the catcher.
Wow, that was a very good pitch there. I'm kind of shocked it wasn't called. That would have been one that you would want to swing at just to protect in the box with 2 strikes on you.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the umpire has been a little bit inconsistent in his calls.
Outside and a walk there. So now we have bases loaded with 2 outs, and up comes a power hitter. So not a great situation for South Central right now.
Yeah, and so bases loaded, 2 outs. I mean, you really just want to go at this batter right here, and you want to try to get out of this jam.
Great stop by the catcher on the tip of her glove. She just saved a run there. And it looks like the coaches want to discuss not a great situation for South Central, and they're trying to figure out their game plan.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those meetings where it's like, okay, we got 2 outs in the inning. I mean, the bases might be loaded, but I mean, if you just really focus on this batter, then we can get out of this.
Yeah, if you just focus on getting this one last out, it's over. No harm done. Obviously might have hurt the momentum a little bit, but if they can get it out of this inning without allowing anything, that's a win.
Yeah, and so it feels like this at bat right here is going to be a momentum shifter for sure because, I mean, it is bases loaded, and so a base hit will give momentum to John Glenn as they'll take the lead. But on the other side, if the South Central pitcher is able to get out of this, then, I mean, able to get out of bases loaded is a really hard thing to do.
And it looked like that was at a strike there, swinging. And another really close pitch, and it goes as a strike. And now, again, you got to be really, really, really careful there in the batter's box.
Yeah, so 1-2 count, you got to swing at anything close.
Looks like that's a foul. No harm done. Must have been out or out of reach. But you got to be careful with foul balls, too, in this situation. I know that any player would rather go down having their hit in play as opposed to getting out by a foul ball. And another ball there, a great stop by the catcher, getting up.
Yeah, and right here, I think Lexi Johnson should really target that lower outside part of the strike zone as that one's fouled off.
And it seems like she's really protecting, doing a great job. That probably those last two fouls probably weren't her pitch that she can drive. Just making a little bit of contact, but not too much that it gets her out on a foul fly. Just really protecting. And again, another high pitch, and that walks or not. I guess she got the count wrong there by mistake. But
I guess she thought it was 4 balls, but it's 3, so that's gonna be a full count.
A full count. It comes down to this pitch, unless it's fouled. Big pitch here. And it seems that she fouled it off once again.
And another foul. Yeah, and so full count, bases loaded. I mean, this is kind of what you live for.
The pressure is on. It can't get any better than this. Tied game.
And there it is.
There it is.
What a great pitch there by Johnson.
And she was in the batter's box a long time. That should just kind of be one that you need to swing at. If you miss it, you miss it. But it's better to swing and miss than go out looking and wondering what could have been.
Yeah, I feel like she was kind of hoping that she would get walked. And, I mean, she was kind of looking the whole way.
I agree. She was very aggressive when she was down in the count. But then as it went on and balls, she just seemed a little less aggressive there. And no harm done for South Central. All right, and here we go. The inning's starting back up. South Central got out of that inning unscathed. Still a tie game. We were doing really well without the buffering, and unfortunately it came back.
Yeah, it was kind of going really good, and then, I mean, there's a little bit of buffering right there. Yeah, and so for John Glenn, to have the bases loaded and not get anything out of it, I mean, it's kind of like a gut punch as, you kind of felt like you were going to get something from it, and you're able to come away with nothing.
And when it's a close game like this, it's just something that if this ends up going South Central's way, that John Glenn's going to look back on and they had bases loaded and we're only one ball away from walking in a run there.
Yeah, and I mean, you just got to think that it was really clutch for Lexi Johnson right there. You know, she was able to keep her composure and able to pitch a pitch that, you know, was just right there in the strike zone, but, you know, not really hittable.
And the pitching, again, as I've said so many times, has been really, really like great so far. I know there were a couple hits in that inning, but the pitching has been overall really great.
Yeah, and so it looks like we have a runner at first. It might have been a walk.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened, but we have a runner at first, and I believe no outs.
Yeah, I think no outs, runner at first, and it's going to be the pitcher, Lexi Johnson, stepping in.
So Lex.
And so, you know, Lexi Johnson able to get out that bases loaded jam. Let's see if she can help herself here at the plate.
He got it from Challenger. Yeah. So, from Challenger.
Looks like a walk there. He's holding up the bunt.
Now batting number 10, Henry Warner.
But it ends in a walk, and then we're going to see talk to his pitcher.
Yeah, and I mean, the bunting stance kind of throws off the pitcher sometimes. So, I mean, a really good job there by Johnson, able to throw off the pitcher and get the walk.
And the bunt is always something that it can go any way, really. And infielders especially have to adjust to that stance and worry about if there's going to be a bunt, if it's a fake. It's so mentally, you have to be sharp and you have to know exactly what you need to do in that situation. But you also need to monitor the batter and see, because I feel as if you can really tell a real when somebody's actually going to bunt and the stance that they have versus somebody who's just putting it on there to try to trick the fielders. So it's really, you really have to look at it closely and figure out what exactly they're trying to do there. And it looks like that is a great hit there, unless it was caught.
Looks like it was a shot to the outfield, and I think it was a gapper, and I'm not sure if it brought home a run.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Because there's a runner on first and third.
It must have been a shot there.
Yeah, I think it just buffers at the worst times.
Every single time there's a hit.
Yeah, because I feel like when the pitcher is pitching, you know, and it feels like it's not buffering, and then once there's a hit, it wants to buffer.
Yeah, and I think that might have been a single there, and it just advanced the runner to third. And that was a real bunt right there.
Because I think there was runners at first and second.
That was a fly out. First and second. One out here.
Yeah, I believe it was
the third.
Yeah, fly out and a tag up. So that's how the runner got from second to third. So now we have runners at the corners.
With one out, and it looks like they're trying to bunt here. The runners advance to second. on that. And the batter is 2 strikes. And that looked like it could go either way there, a very lucky break. Those on the kind of the outside of the plate are very – it depends on the ump every single time.
And the runner will get to second base, so now both runners in scoring position, so a base hit potentially gets 2 home.
Absolutely, especially if it's hit on that left side. Looks like a drop third. The runner on third is now in a pickle, and it looks like she is tagged out there.
Yeah, and I mean, the runner at third, I think if she went back to third base right away, I think that she could have got back. But the second that she hesitated was the moment that the catcher was able to get her.
Exactly, and I know that the protocol on those is to wait until the catcher throws to first to start running. So it just seemed like the runner on third went a little too far, a little too fast, and caught the eye of the catcher. And fortunately, for John Glenn, everybody knew what to do in that situation, and they got the out there, which helps a ton because now if the ball goes past the catcher, it's on an automatic run. They just move up an extra base. So that was a great play by John Glenn and an ultimate mistake on South Central there on the base running in the base pass. And there's the wild pitch I was talking about, and runners are going to go up a base, which, again, if that play didn't happen in that mistake from the runner on third, that didn't happen, that would have scored a run, and the South Central would have taken the lead.
Yeah, and so now runners back at second and third, but I believe with 2 outs now. It might be 1, but I'm not too sure.
I believe it is 2 now with that runner on third because of the fly out before.
Yeah, so 2 down, runners on second and third for the bat.
An important at bat here, trying to get the lead, the go ahead run, and it's a grounder in to shortstop, and she missed. I think she missed her, and that's the run. That's a run in for South Central. They'll take the lead on that. Just a little too slow getting the ball over.
Yeah, and great job there by the batter, able to beat out the throw because I mean, if that out occurs at first base, the run doesn't score.
I agree 100%. What a hustle by the batter there, getting to the first base, never giving up on the play, never being upset that it was just a little grounder. That's why you never give up on the plays because you never know how long it's going to take for the fielder to get the ball out of their glove and throw it over. So you should never give up on the play, and that was a great example. And it looks like that runner just got to second. Then we have a swing and a miss. Another great pitch. Anything hit on that left side that's not in the air, hit it on the ground the left side, it can most likely score both of the runs that are currently on the bases. So really aiming to that left side. Inside pitch there. It looks like it is a 3-1 count. A walk here is not what you want. And there you go. There's a walk. We got bases loaded, 2 outs. This is not looking great for John Glenn right now. And up comes another batter. Anywhere on the field, anywhere on the ground, it's very likely that you score a run in here.
Yeah, now with bases loaded, it puts a lot of pressure on the pitcher. Just as South Central was, John Glenn is in a jam.
Absolutely, and that looks like it goes foul out of the field. If I was John Glenn, I'd want an easy pop up here, get out of the inning, and get that run back. And there we go. Straight line drive to the first baseman, I believe, and that'll end the top of the fifth.
Yeah, and so the same situation for South Central. John Glenn was able to get out of the jam with little damage done as, South Central takes the lead now 3-2.
And it's now up to John Glenn to answer for the run that they gave up. And we're going to begin the bottom of the fifth here in a couple minutes. Now, I'm very excited to continue seeing the really great pitching performance that has been going on for South Central. The pitching has been superb today. Been a lot of strikeouts. I wish I knew the exact number, but it seems like every other batter has either been in trouble at the plate or has been struck out.
Yeah, I think Johnson has done a great job here in this game. I mean, she has allowed 2 runs, but I mean, for the most part, she has been really great at throwing strikes and limiting the base runners.
There's a ball outside in the left-hand batter's box. And I believe it is Natalie Wilton, the catcher, up to bat. Let's see what she can pull out here for the Falcons. Next pitch inside. Great way to hold back on that. Inside pitches aren't normally a batter's favorite pitch to swing at or take a chance at. So great way to hold back on that. Ooh, and a line drive right into the shins of the pitcher. I don't know if I hit the shins, but it was in that area. But a great way to get that out there. I think it just missed her legs, but her glove just grabbed it. But what a play by the pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, great play there by the pitcher. That will be the first out of the inning, and South Central is doing a great job.
And another pitch that could have gone either way, and just again, great pitching here. Now up to bat, we have Peyton Thomas, a third baseman. Pitch incoming. And that looks like a shot unless it's foul, and it looks like it is. If that was fair, that would have been a fantastic hit. Most likely to the fence there. Let's see if she can get the bat on straight and do the same thing into fair territory. That looked like an outside ball there. Not sure of the count. We have one out here, the bottom of the fifth. And there it is. There's a shot. And it looks like that's gone. Home run, John Glenn. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's Peyton Thomas, the third baseman. What a shot, exactly what I just said. She could get that bat on straight. That is gone, and it is now a 3-3 game.
Yeah, just a huge answer there by John Glenn, as they were down 3-2, but with that shot, they tie it back up, and now it's 3-3.
And what a way to take back the momentum after losing the lead in the top of the fifth. And now we only have one out here, I believe. So the momentum's on John Glenn's side right now. You need to see how the South Central Satellites respond defensively. And there is a strike, another ball that could go either way. Now she knows what it looks like. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this is Scout Wilson, first baseman, up to bat. Now she knows what a strike looks like. She just needs to drive it home. Wow, that was an outside pitch. I thought for sure strikeout there. We're down to 2 outs. Personally, that looked like a ball. I don't know if I was playing, I would have swung at that, but down to the umpire's judgment. Another strikeout here, the bottom of the fifth in this game. We got another batter up to the plate. 2 outs, tied 3-3, and a bunt. Interesting play here. With 2 outs and no runners on, we have a bunt, huh? It's not a play you see often there.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of a questionable call, but I guess, trying to get the small ball game going, just unfortunately did not work out there for John Glenn.
No, not at all. She must be a really fast player if they gave that signal to bunt. She must have experience being able to make it to first with that call. But just in the 2 outs, it's tied 3-3. It was kind of a questionable call, not something you see very often. So the last out of the inning is on a bunt. Now we have South Central coming back out to bat, trying to respond to that home run, trying to get up in the lead. They're a 3-3 tie now. It's been a pretty back and forth game.
Yeah, as we go to the top of the 6th, so I mean, there's only 2 innings left. So if this game stays 3-3, it looks like we might go to extra innings.
Extra innings are always very fun, and in a game like this, when the players are just hitting bombs and having these highlight defensive plays, these are 2 very good softball teams here, and they both can win this. All right, to start off the inning for the Satellites, we have a ball there. It's now 1-0. Got an outside pitch in the left-hand batter's box. 2-0 here in the count. And, well, they haven't had, like, a terrible pitching night compared to South Central. There's been more walks and more balls, but still a great night. And there's a shot, or it looked like a shot, but it was just a little pop up there to first base. We got 1 out here in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was almost going to go out to the outfield, but, I mean, that one dies just right at first base.
Right off the bat, that looked like that was going to left field, and it again another one that just kind of died in the air. So good start so far for John Glenn. They got no runners on. They got an out there. And yeah, absolutely. There's only 2 innings left. You really gotta buckle down in this defensive area. And there's one that could go either way. A strike a little bit outside, right on the outside corners of the plate there. Another nice pitch that could have gone anyway. A little high, but right down the middle. Not particularly sure of what the count is, but I think she may have 3 balls. 2 or 3 balls. Looks like she has 3 balls now and 1 strike. 3-1 count. You can't have this walk here again. There's only 1 out. There's still the opportunity to tag up. And in this close of a game, in this late in a game, you don't want that to happen. So a strikeout or an out on the field is needed. And exactly what John Glenn did not want there, a walk, a wild pitch.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of the worst ways to start off an inning. I mean, because it just kind of gets the batter on for free, especially with 0 outs. And so now South Central has something going here in the top of the 6th.
And that looked like a ball again. And we've seen the catcher for John Glenn be very attentive and active, and she had that throw down out there. So she's watching. She can throw that ball. You most likely don't want to risk stealing at this point in the game with somebody like that behind the plate.
Yeah, and great pitch right there, able to get back in the strike column it kind of looked like she was just missing the strike zone on both of these batters.
100%, but it looks like she's gotten it back, and it looks like they're going to try to turn 2 here. They got the runner on second, but they unfortunately did not get the runner at first. So that's 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Not a bad inning so far. You just got to be careful not to let anything drop on the ground.
Yeah, it just kind of feels like the suspense is building in this game as, of course, a tie ball game. Top of the 6th, only a couple of innings left. Looks like we got a good game. Yeah, looks like we got a good game on our hands.
And another foul ball. Again, it looks like it either went out or it was out of reach. If you're the batter, of course you want to get that run and swing that momentum when you're only going to get this inning and 1 more inning in terms of at bats. So you really got to be careful. And of course, they're the away team. You don't get that last ditch opportunity in the bottom of the 7th to come back and win it on a walk off. And there again, another wild pitch. We're going to have another stolen base there. Looks like we're getting more wild pitches than we have before. So I think the pitcher needs to just take a deep breath and regroup and really focus on driving it right through the middle. And there's a shot. And that looks like it hit off the fence. And a 1-run scores, and she is going to hold up at second. What a shot, and what a way for the Satellites to get another run in, and they now lead 4-3 in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, I mean, what a hit in, such a big moment, able to get the RBI double and take the lead here late.
100%. That looked like it was gone from this angle, but I think it just hit off the fence. We now have a runner on second with this batter, 2 outs in the top of the 6th. The Satellites now lead by 1 run. If they can build on top of this, I think they're going to be in a pretty good position to take the game, with the Falcons only having 2 more at-bats left in this game. And that was a nice pitch on the outside corner, exactly where you want to be if you want to throw outside. Throwing outside is a lot more difficult than it seems to be, just because you have to be exactly in the area that the umpire likes them on the outside, and some like them more than others. But you see, that one was a little too outside.
Yeah, and I mean, so South Central, I mean, the top of the 6th isn't even done yet, but when it goes to the bottom of the 6th, John Glenn will be down to their final 6 outs.
And it gets very nerve-wracking when you go up to the plate when you know you only have a couple more at-bat opportunities, just because it almost matters more because it's the ending of the game, especially in a close game like this. Just because it looks like that was hit foul, but just because South Central is up right now does not mean it's over at all. It's only a 1-run difference, and the Falcons have come back from a 1-run difference before, because this has been a very back-and-forth game. So don't count John Glenn out yet just because they're down by 1 right now. There we go, another wild pitch, and that's going to be close there. And she is safe. Unfortunately, did not catch that angle, but what a play by the catcher. Even though she bobbled it, she still got it very close to getting that runner out. And with all the wild pitches, the Falcons have to be careful. There's a runner at third now, and if that goes past the catcher again, it's going to score another run, and that's going to be even more to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, great job there by the catcher, able to make that play at third base even close, because, I mean, it kind of looked like she had third base, no contest, but the throw made it, closer than what it should have been.
That's not a play that's normally that close, especially running to third. Running to third is very risky just because it's right where the catcher is, and the catcher can see that line clearly. And a strikeout to end the top of the 6th. The Satellites scoring on that double that I believe hit the fence. So what an inning for the Satellites there, coming back in the lead and putting themselves in a position to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of almost felt like this game was really going to go into extra innings tied 3-3, but then South Central, they, get a run in the top of the 6th, and now with only 2 at-bats left, John Glenn really has to get something going here in the bottom of the 6th.
John Glenn really has to step up their at-bats and really be careful with what they're swinging at. They can't swing at anything that's out of the strike zone, and when they have 2 strikes, they really need to focus on, if not hitting the ball, fouling the ball, so that way they can remain in the box, because South Central has been really getting them on strikeouts and really getting them with the pitching, and they just need to adapt their game to, if they don't like a pitch, swing at it, and hopefully it'll foul off, but protect in the box.
Yeah, I mean, if you're John Glenn, you really have to protect the plate and, try to string some at bats together and try to either tie this ball game or possibly even take the lead.
And there we have a hit right off the edge of the bat. Not the way you want to start the inning. That's 1 out. It looked like it just barely hit the bat, and it rolled right into the pitcher's mound. Not a great start.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a really great pitch there by Johnson, able to get the batter to swing at it and get only the end of the bat and able to get that easy first out of the inning.
And now we have another batter up in the box trying to start this inning. And that's a great pitch right down the middle, a little outside. That's where you want to throw it as a pitcher because a lot of batters don't like outside pitches and they won't swing at that. So that's pretty much a free strike without worrying about the batter hitting. It was a little low, looked like, called a ball. You get another pitch coming up. It looks like that hit the tip of the bat, foul ball. Looks like that's catchable. And it looks like it just missed. Looks like they just missed that. They had 3 people under the ball. Safe to assume it was some sort of miscommunication, but that looked catchable there. You got to be careful. And she just drops it at second, and that is a close call, and it looks like she is called out.
Yeah, I mean, such a close play there. I mean, I felt like she almost had it in the air, and then it just barely dropped. And then by the time she threw it to first base, she barely got the batter by like a step.
100%. It looks like the batter just hesitated on that ball. So strike is called there. The last play, it looked like it was another one of those that died in the air, but second base just dropped it. But great play by the second baseman to not give up on it and still try to get that out at first, and it paid off. I think we have a count of 2-0, 2 strikes on her. Not a great start in the inning for John Glenn. It was 1 hit that just hit the edge of the bat, one little hit to second that was dropped, and now we have a 0-2 situation. Not the way they wanted to come out. They only have 1 at bat after this, so the batter hopefully can get something going here. And it's swimming a miss, but a drop third strike, and it looks like she's going to get there.
Yeah, and I mean, it almost looked like it was a foul ball, but it looks like her bat went right under that ball.
Absolutely. That's what it looked like to me as well. And the Falcons just got some life here. I think they're back at the top of their lineup. And that looks like a ball, or it was called a ball. So
Yeah,
we have the tying run on first.
Yeah, just a huge break there for John Glenn, as I mean, that was potentially a third out of the inning, and I mean, she's able to reach.
And there is a drive, and that is exactly what they needed there, right by the fence. And it looks like they're going to score if she can get to third, and it looks like she does there, and it is a tie game. We have a triple on our hands that brought in the tying run from first. That is not what the Satellites expected there after such a slow start in the inning.
Yeah, and I mean, the last batter was down in the count 0-2, and it kind of looked like South Central was going to get out of this, and then a drop third strike, able to get the run on first, and then a hit to left field, able to drive in that run to tie up the ball game.
We have a game on our hands, and it looks like that's another hit that's going to drive another run in, unless that was caught or foul. It looks like it went foul.
Yeah, and it looks like South Central was really lucky with that one, that it was just foul, because that could have potentially been the leading run right there for the Falcons.
And it looked to have been a close one, because both Falcons players looked a little shocked that was called foul. And there's another drive. Looks like that might be caught, and it is. and that'll end the bottom of the 6th. What a hit there with that triple, that foul that was almost going to drive in the go-ahead run. A slow start, but what an ending for John Glenn there.
Yeah, I mean, it really looked like South Central is going to get out of that inning with no damage done. And then, you had a runner on first and just able to rope one to left field and able to get a triple out of it, an RBI triple to tie this ball game up going into the bottom of the 6th.
And 100%. I want to say that was top of the lineup, and that was Mackenzie Klein, but I could be wrong. But as we said, that's the first runner is normally speedy, so that must have helped a lot getting all the way to third, because that's not normally a triple. That's not normally triple material, but her speed and her wheels got her there. Now we are heading into, I believe, the top of the 7th. Yeah, there we go. The top of the 7th. This is the last chance for South Central to go ahead. The Falcons need a perfect inning here to get out of this.
Yeah, and I mean, so John Glenn able to answer right back as they tie this ball game up, and South Central, now they need a run to untie this ball game here in the top of the 7th.
And again, this is the last opportunity in the regular amount of innings that you play. Unless this game goes to extra innings, this is the last opportunity for the Satellites to make a difference here and go put a go-ahead run and put some pressure on the Falcons to have a perfect inning and ultimately hit a walk-off. I must mention we are in a walk-off situation, which is always interesting and always very fun to watch. It looks like we're having some buffering again, which hopefully it'll pass. Bear with us as we deal with the buffering.
Yeah, and it looks like I was about to say, just as this game was getting good.
I know. This is the part of the game you don't want any buffering on, and we were doing really good for a couple of innings.
Yeah, hoping that it stops, here in the late game.
Seems to be a little better, maybe. Seems like we're jumping a little bit, but hopefully it figures itself out. Yeah, it looks like that is up. Foul ball. Not particularly certain of the count. There's a walk, not what you wanted to do there. No outs and a runner on first base. Very dangerous.
Yeah, and a great at-bat there for South Central as, I mean, I'm not sure what the count was, but I believe it might have been a full count and able to, watch that last one go by and able to take first base.
Yeah, absolutely. And now John Glenn probably hoping for something close to shortstop or second to turn to and have a double play just to get him out of this inning, because this is already not what you want. Now you want to start the top of the 7th when you're tied up. And then a beautiful pitch and a swing and a miss, but a beautiful pitch right down the middle. See if she can do that again. And she does. Another wonderful pitch down the middle. And hopefully she's starting to find that perfect pitch. This is a perfect time to find that.
Yeah, I mean, here in late game, you really have to attack the strike zone. You don't really want to walk too many batters.
That's a foul ball.
Ooh.
Just bounced off her
Oof.
hand, her non-glove hand. It looked like it was right in the way of her glove. Fortunately,
Yeah,
I know that stings.
Yeah, I mean, those are just tough because it's almost a guaranteed out, but then, it kind of just bounces off, just a centimeter to the right, centimeter to the left. And, I mean, you don't get that out.
100%. But I also think, wow, a shot down the middle, and it looks like it was just missed right off her glove. And unfortunately, you got a buffer. Looks like it got the runner on first base to second and her on first. But what I was saying before is many people don't realize how hard it is for a catcher to go and find a pop-up foul like that, because the way they're positioned, they have no clue where the ball is, like somebody who's in the field or in the outfield does. You have no idea, and you're looking straight up, and most people cannot do that. That's very hard. I know I couldn't do it. I was never a catcher, but it's just never. It's something that I know people look at that and they're like, oh, and it looks like that just dropped.
Oh, and that one gets away. Oh, so the runner at third is going to be safe. Yeah, that one just blooped there in center field, and now the bases are going to be loaded for South Central.
Bases loaded, not one out. They definitely need a force here. Like if they can hit a ball close to a base and one of the bases throws to the next closest one, that's really all you can hope for in the situation, or a strikeout. But this has gone about as bad as it could have gone for John Glenn right now. But hope is not lost. Still a tie game, then there's still an opportunity to keep this tied with some lucky breaks, maybe a strikeout.
Yeah, and I mean, this has just been great here for South Central. No outs, bases loaded, top of the seventh. I mean, you couldn't ask for much more if you're South Central.
South Central has had a really great time hitting this inning, which the theme of this game has been South Central leaving runners on. So maybe they can use this as kind of a redemption for all those innings that they had runners not score. But it could also be something that's good for John Glenn, since they know that they've done this before.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is the worst time for a long buffer. Yeah. Ooh, that one.
It looks like exactly what you wanted. You got rid of the lead runner. It looks like it's still going to be bases loaded. It'd be smart for the catcher to hold that so there's not an overthrow. But we got an out, or John Glenn got an out there, and it's now one out with bases still loaded. But they couldn't have asked for anything better in terms of where that ball was hit.
Yeah, I mean, that one was right back to the pitcher, able to make the smart play home, get the lead runner. And, I mean, yeah, bases still loaded here for South Central, but now with one out.
And a smart play by the catcher not to throw that. The batter was already there, and if she threw that, she risks overthrowing it and letting another couple runs score depending on where it ended up. So a good heads-on play by the catcher and the first baseman.
Yeah, and I mean, so during that buffering, maybe there was another out because it says 2 outs now, so.
Possibly. That's even better for John Glenn if it is 2 outs, because now they don't have to really worry about tagging up and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but if you're South Central, you want to get at least one run out of this, as you had bases loaded with 0 outs.
And a nice strike. Caught looking there for South Central.
Yeah, and I believe it was maybe like the 4th and 5th inning where there was, kind of no buffering and it was just going smoothly. And then here in the top of the 7th, the late game, it wants to buffer.
I mean, I'd trade an early inning for a late one any day, especially when it's tied. And we've had a really great game. It's like every time the ball comes to the catcher, it buffers, so we don't really know the count or what different, if it was a ball or a strike, things like that. But that one looked like a strike. That was a lucky break by the batter. I was almost certain he was going to call that.
Yeah, I think that one was right there. I mean, apparently just a little too high for the umpire. Not sure what the count is, but it might be, 2-2, 2-1, something.
There's the strike on the outside. He seems to like those right on the corner of the plate strikes. I've noticed that. I wish I knew what the count was, but it seems like it's been a pretty tough battle between pitcher and batter right now.
Yeah, and I believe he put up 2-2. I think so. So it might be a 2-2 count, bases loaded, and foul ball.
The pitcher's doing her job. She's throwing strikes. I know one of those balls was really close, so she's doing her job. Just if you do anything, don't walk the batter. That's the one thing that the pitcher cannot do, because then if she walks this batter, her team's going to be down. And there's that outside pitch that looked like the same pitch she just threw that was called a strike. And now I think that makes it a full count. It all comes down to this pitch. And there we go. South Central on top by 1 on a walk.
Man, just a huge pitch right there. I mean, you really want to attack the strike zone in that situation, but unfortunately, it misses the strike zone and South Central takes the lead on a bases-loaded walk.
I mean, what an at-bat. What a great job by both the pitcher and the catcher. The pitcher and the batter. The batter knew what the ump wanted to call. She protected. She did everything that she needed to do, and she just walked in a run for her team. And now they still have a chance to score more. And it looks like that might score. I can't tell with the buffering, but that's going to drop.
That was a shot to center field. Don't know if it was caught or it kind of looks like it got down dropped. And she's in for a double, a 2 RBI double.
Yeah, so that drives in 2 more, and now it's looking more and more like South Central is on top of this game so far. Unless John Glenn comes out with a huge inning, it's seeming a lot to top right now.
Yeah, and I mean, this entire game, it feels like each team has thrown a haymaker, back and forth. And now in the top of the 7th, South Central might have the last laugh as they go up 7-4.
Absolutely, this is the biggest lead so far in the game. And again, John Glenn and the John Glenn Falcons only have one more at bat after this to try to get a walk off. But they're going to need 4 runs in an inning to do that, which is a big mountain to climb. But again, we were talking earlier, baseball and softball, it's never over until you get that final out.
Yeah, and especially in high school softball, 3 runs is not really that much. So, I mean, South Central can feel good now, but when they go back on the field, they really have to lock it down and do their best to finish this one off.
You still got 2 outs. And the Falcons desperately trying to find that final out to not make the score go any larger. It's already going to be a very big mound to climb. And they just want to get out of this inning. And a grounder to second. All they need to do is throw that to first. And it looks like she got there. And another run driven in on a slow grounder to second base. The second baseman just couldn't get that up in time and to get that out. It is now 9-4. Satellite's up by 5.
Man, I mean, just another huge hit here for South Central. As, I mean, 9-4 as runners going.
And it looks like the throw is just a little high.
Yeah, and I mean, you start off this inning 4-4. You know, John Glenn, you know, kind of was thinking, okay, let's get these 3 outs. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th and walk it off. But South Central had other plans, and I mean, and they go up 5 here in the top of the 7th.
And the good news for the Falcons is they don't have a runner on third base, so they have a little more freedom. If there's a wild pitch again, they won't get an automatic run. And a wonderful pitch. Swing and a miss. Right down the middle. That's exactly where you want it to be. But again, the Falcons have some freedom. If there's a mistake on the field, it's not necessarily going to mean a run, whereas if there's a runner on third base, it would. And that looks like a pop-up or pop foul. And it looks like it went out. Catcher immediately threw off her helmet, which is obviously what you're supposed to do. But the catcher seems to be very hungry to get this last out. She's throwing it down. She's very eager to get up for that foul ball. So I think the Falcons are really looking for this last out here. And that's another pop-up. It looks like another that just miss. Right in that same spot. They've constantly hit it. And that looks close there at second. And she is safe. That's going to drive another one in. And just what a inning for South Central.
Yeah, and I mean, South Central just kind of pouring it on now. As, I mean, they have really asserted themselves here in the top of the 7th.
And they're going to have a discussion. And it appears that the score before that last run was actually 8-4, not 9-4. So now that run scored, it's 9-4. South Central up by 5, the top of the 7th. And it's just not been a great inning for the Falcons. And it unfortunately has come at the worst time that it possibly could, when the Falcons only have one more at bat. If this inning happened earlier, they'd have more innings to gently chip away at the lead. But since it's the last inning, they are going to have to go all out to try to make up for the runs that they allowed this inning.
Yeah, and I mean, this game went 7-4. You know, South Central able to add another run. It went 8-4, and now, you know, get another great at bat, able to make it 9-4 here in the top of the 7th.
And again, it's just one out they need, and they just can't get a break here. Then another foul ball down the third baseline. And I didn't get to see his count there. I'm not completely sure. And that's another hit over to right. Looks like that's foul, and it looks like it's going to drop. So that I'm pretty sure that means she has 2 strikes on her. I'm not sure how many balls.
Yeah, and I mean that one looks promising going to right field. I mean, lucky for John Glenn, it just went foul.
And the Falcons hope that they can get out of the inning. And unfortunately, that looks dropped.
Yeah, that
And that looks like she got her. Or did she not get her?
I mean, that was close there at the plate. And I mean, it kind of looked like she barely missed her.
It could be the angle, but what a throw to the catcher there.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like the runner was going to score for sure. And then the throw kind of beat the runner. And then the runner just got around it, the tag.
What a great run. I for sure thought she was out from that angle, but the umpire obviously saw something from the better angle he was at. But both sides, that was a great play. The base running to get out of that tag, the throw to the catcher just being in the right spot. I just think the batter just stepped right to the side and just missed the tag. What a play there. It looks like that's another pop-up. And it looks like that dropped or went out of the field. Now, it looked like a foul ball. Or maybe it bounced off the catcher because the batters, they're the runner that was on base is at third now.
Yeah, now in a 10-4 ball game, I mean, you just want to, try to get out of this inning if you're the Falcons, as they do there.
All right, they have quite the climb to go. They have 6 runs that they need to get in 1 inning, which is going to be an uphill climb.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be definitely an uphill climb, but, it's definitely not impossible, as South Central just got 6 runs there in the top of the 7th. So, I mean, this ball game isn't over just yet.
It's never over till it's over, and there's still 3 outs that South Central has to get, and it's possible. See, the same way they scored 6 runs in the last inning, the Falcons could come back and do the same exact thing.
Man, and this game has been close nearly the entire game, but South Central just really busted it open there in the top of the 7th.
It was a huge inning for South Central. And I want to see how this ends because I still think that the Falcons can come back in it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the game is still in the balance, because, as we've been saying, South Central just barely scored 6 runs in the top. So it's not uncanny for, us to say that, or if it might have been 7 runs. It might be 11-4.
Oh, it looks like it was 7 runs, and it looks like the score is 11-4. So the Satellites scored 7 runs in just the last inning.
It's kind of crazy.
Now, yeah, it is very, very crazy. It's not something that happens very often. especially for such an even matchup as it's been the whole game. But unfortunately, just a couple very well-timed hits and just some unfortunate plays. And some great hits as well, not to take away from South Central because they did have some great hits, but it was a lot of just unlucky placements for the Falcons.
Yeah, I feel like there might have been a couple errors in that inning for the Falcons, but for the most part, you got to give the credit to South Central for, getting all of those hits and just having a huge inning here late in this ballgame.
And it looks like it is a 2-1 count. And that's a shot to center. And it looks like it dropped. And she is going to run to second. It's going to be a close call here. And she slides in the second, and she is safe. That is exactly how the Falcons wanted to start after that rough inning. They now have a runner at second with no outs to start this inning.
Yeah, and as we said, the Falcons are not down and out, and they showed right there with the first batter of the inning doing her job, getting a double to start off the bottom of the seventh.
Absolutely, and now every batter needs to go up and be confident they can do it. And that's a grounder to third, and she looks second. She's out at one. She was going to run to third, but it was just too close, unfortunately, for her. So now they have one out, still a runner on second, still a chance to come back. It would have been very helpful if that runner could make it to second, but the Satellites were just too on top of that to let that happen.
Yeah, and I think it was a smart play there by the runner at second base to stay put, because I think if she would have tried, to go to third, a good throw would have definitely got her out, and that would have been 2 outs here in the bottom of the seventh.
It was also a very smart move, again, that she didn't do that. Because 2 outs with us needing 7 runs, it doesn't look too positive. But now that they only have 1 out, there's still a chance. There's always still a chance. It's just when it's 2 outs, I feel like momentum shifts, and players tend to think they're down and out, even though it's not over yet. You can always 2-out rally.
Yeah, and in a 7-run game, that runner advancing to third base doesn't really matter too much at this point, because either way the runner has to get in, but if they score, it's still going to be 11-5.
And a ball up high on the last pitch. And again, the batters need to be very aware this isn't the time to swing at high balls or low balls or balls that are inside or outside. You just really need to wait on it. And if you find that pitch, swing, but don't get caught looking on strikes. And that's a wild pitch. It's going to advance the runner to third, and it looked like the batter is walked. So now they have runners on the corner unless she's going to turn, and she's going to stop at third, and they have runners on the corner with 1 out. Very helpful there.
Yeah, now runners at the corners here for John Glenn.
The Falcons not giving up regardless of the big score difference. It looks like she hesitated there a little bit. Didn't really think it was her pitch. Unfortunately, still called a strike. The runner advances to second. I didn't see what happened. Most likely a wild pitch or just not paying attention to it. But we now have a runner on third and second with 1 out. And a ball there. Another ball. I believe it's now a full count. Foul ball, exactly what you want to do in this position. And there she got her. 2 outs now, strikeout, going down swinging.
Yeah, and a huge second out there for Lexi Johnson, as now 1 out away from completing this game.
And a beautiful strike, caught swinging. Kind of hesitated a little bit, didn't seem like a full swing. Just got to find your pitch and drive it and get some more runs on the board and keep the hope alive for a 2-out rally. That one a little low and outside. Great stop by the catcher. There it is. Looked a little inside, but there we go. Called a strike. The either or pitch, you may say. She now has 2 strikes on her. 1 more strike ends this game. The South Central win. And a hit or somehow getting on base will keep the Falcons alive. And there it is. Win for South Central, 11-4. What a game. Really blew it open in that last inning. And in South Central, the South Central Satellites come up on top.
Yeah, and I mean, just a great pitching performance there for Lexi Johnson, as you know, for the most part, she did a sensational job, finding the strike zone and, keeping South Central in this game. And then South Central's offense just kind of, tied the bow in this game, and with that 7-run top of the 7th.
Absolutely. And South Central's batters did not disappoint in the top of the 7th. It was a ton of great hits. Many were at the fence, hit it to the outfield multiple times, and with some assistance from some certain errors on John Glenn's side, they broke the game open and they just took this one away.
And I mean, it was really close the entire game. And then, they just blew it open there in the top of the 7th, and were able to get the final 3 outs, and they'll get their first win of the season in the first game of the season.
And both of these teams have a lot of potential this season. I saw a bunch of different things that they were doing right. So both teams have a bright future ahead during this season. The score also doesn't really represent the game well, as it was so close until that very last inning.
Yeah, and so who would you give your game ball to?
Absolutely, the pitcher on South Central. She had a wonderful performance. She was throwing all over. She didn't just have one pitch that she stuck to. She was throwing all around the strike zone, and she constantly had the Falcons guessing. And so for that reason, I'm going to give her the game ball, just because I feel like her performance really kept a lot of possible runs for the Falcons contained and ultimately gave them this win.
Yeah, and I would also have to go with Lexi Johnson, as I mean, she just was a sensational pitcher the entire game. I mean, she not only pitched the entire game, but I mean, she did some great things on the mound, and she's able to pick up the W.
Absolutely, and it seems like this stream is pretty much done.
Yeah, I
It
think
hasn't
Josh ended it.
been off, so I think unless there's anything else left to say.
Nope, I think just, a really good ball game and a really good win here for South Central.
Absolutely, 100%. What a game.
Yeah, but it looks like that's going to do it from me and Maddie from RCSPN. A great win here for South Central, and we will see y'all in the next one.